Literally, it's 40 seconds of silence. I've just realized the mic's muted. I've just been talking to myself. Unbelievable. Hello, everyone. Welcome to DansDenYT, number 31. For shame. For shame. Welcome to DansDenYT, number 31. And how's everyone doing? I hope you had a good weekend. What I was saying was that my partner redid my dreads. So he sat and she spent about an hour. I think, well, no, not an hour. It wasn't an hour. It took like 45 minutes to go through every single dread and just dread them from the bottom. So now they fit a lot better. We don't just need to twist them. They sit in place a lot better and they hold a lot better. So there's a win. There is a win. Fantastic stuff. Aren't we happy? How are you? How's your weekend been? What's been going on with you? Ethan, what's going on, man? How's your weekend been? Are you feeling better? Because I know you said you weren't feeling great. Are you feeling better? Are you on the mend a little bit better? Are you there yet? Where are you at the moment in terms of your health? What's happening? What's the big ho-ha? Of course, Dexter has joined us today as usual. He's now lying down. Hey, Pookie. Hello. Hey, you. Oh, buddy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can get up for strokies. A bit better. Good. That's good to hear, man. That's good to hear. A little bit better. Fantastic. I hope you've got enough medication and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure you're able to pop to Tesco and get the medicine you need if you want to. I don't know if there's one nearby or, if there's a shop anywhere near you. But I know that's an option, certainly. And I think, I'm not sure, but I believe sometime this week they're announcing a bit more of a leniency on gatherings and stuff. So that means that actually soon you guys will all be able to hang out with your friends, which is great. I don't know whether that means they'll open up the college again. That'll be interesting because they'll be gathered, like, I don't know. What medication you need. That's true. And that's a fair point. That is a fair point. I mean, I'm just assuming you might just need some painkillers like paracetamol stuff. But actually, the thing is, I don't want to tell you what to get and then you get it and it doesn't do you service, like it does worse. So that's not it. But I think just like try and Google the I know you're not supposed to Google stuff, but Google the symptoms and see what like the lowest level illness could be, right? Don't obviously go to the depths of like, you'll die in 2 hours, that kind of thing. But sometimes it's just like you've got a cold or you're nauseous because you're not eating well or something like that, Whoa. Oh my God, this cat fucking, please, for the love of God. No, stop. Right, okay. Okay, right. Do you know what? You're coming up. Here, come on, up you come. There we go. All right, good. Oh my God. There we go. So yeah, sometimes you're just nauseous because you're not eating well or you haven't eaten enough or you're eating too much or you're eating too much of the wrong thing or you're just not sleeping well, which can cause nausea, by the way. You've just been laying in bed. Well, before you got ill. What it could be. And also, let's be honest, there could be, you might want to check symptoms. I think it's a good idea to check symptoms of coronavirus just in case, because if you've had, body aches all over and so on, there's a lot of things that can be done there. So obviously, one of the first things I would start to do is start to wash far more regularly, drink lots of water as usual. If you can get some lemon, put lemon in the water as well, because lemon's not a disinfectant, but it's got a natural kind of antibacterial agent to it. So that can be good. Lots of hot water, and then yeah, go a little bit search and find out what else you can get, like paracetamol, painkillers, things like that, that could help. Because yeah, and also don't forget you've checked. Okay, you've already checked. Good man. Look at you. You don't need to tell me what you do. You don't need me for that. Yeah, good man. Well done. Excellent. So yeah, like you have a look and see what might be good for you. Because you can always ask, is it pain I'm in that I need to sort out, and then maybe go from there and see what the best painkillers are. Because ibuprofen isn't recommended at the moment because it lowers your immune system suggestedly. So off that alone, I'd say watch out a little bit. Although I've been taking it, but I needed to for very specific reasons. So there's that. Yeah. And just do the usual. Oh, I know it sounds so like rubbish. It's such an adult answer, like drink more water and get some sleep. But genuinely, it's amazing how, and I think the reasoning is, I'll say this, the reasoning is that our immune system works better when we've rested more. Like rest actually builds our immune system. It really helps. So the less we sleep, the weaker our immune system is. So we're more likely to get sick when we don't sleep well. So that's one. Number two, water, again, when we're dehydrated, it basically leaves our body weaker. So our immune system, again, can't work as well. And water is, quite a large portion of our body. So without that large bit, our body can't really function at its best. So that's why people say drink water and sleep, because those things just are natural easy, free ways for us to basically get better faster. And that's not to say that the next day we're going to wake up and be like, oh my God, I feel amazing. Let me go and run a marathon. It's just that over time, it gives our body that opportunity to, you know, to heal in a natural form. Yeah, drugs will make it happen faster, but of course, sleep and water generally will be a longer lasting and sustainable way for your body to heal. Because also what it'll then do is it'll build up a better immune system as well to said illness. Because if you take tablets, what I'm pretty sure happens is your body only builds a resistance to the virus or illness with the tablet. So what it builds is a dependency to those tablets to do the work that it actually can do on its own. So if you drink water and sleep, actually, it means you don't have to depend on tablets so much. And then obviously tablets really come down to very specific illnesses that have a specific tablet to cure it. Whereas stuff like cold or flu or nausea and stuff doesn't necessarily have to be that. So yeah, try things. I mean, I've said all of this, but I haven't even asked you, Ethan, what kind of stuff have you tried so far? You've looked at the symptoms. Well done. What else have you tried already? Because I could have just been literally telling you stuff you've already done. You'd be sat there like, there's no point in me typing all this down because basically I want to say, yeah, I've done all that. So thanks for telling me what I've already done. This cat, honestly, it's shedding everywhere and it's so annoying. You're just a big shedder, you are. It's one big shedder. What have you tried so far, Ethan? Because what happened? Did it happen to me? No, it didn't. No. I'm sleeping more, drinking more water, and resting when I'm not being sick. Okay, cool. All right. So that's cool. Yeah, you're doing the thing. You're doing the natural thing. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, just stay like that. And I guess for the sake of it, avoid as much as you can, avoid contact with other people, not outside your house, inside your house, because then what you have is, you know, an insulated environment of sickness. That's not what you want. But are you like, I don't know if you want to say, but are you washing and showering regularly? Hi, Veronica. Hello. We're just triaging Ethan here. Just giving him some triage because he's feeling better, but he's still not great. But we're just walking through or going through. Oh, eating. Yeah, cool. Okay, eating when you're not being sick. We're just going through, you know, stuff he's doing, stuff he could do to help him feel better. That's all. I've got Dexter here on my lap, just so you know. I'm just that's why I'll pick. Like, there you go. See, proof. There it is. That's the proof that I've got a cat on my lap. Right? That could not be attached to anything. I could have just picked up a tail, but no, I didn't, did I? No, let me. Everyone say hello. Here he is. Hello. Hi. Oh, You're showering regularly and trying to. Cool. Good. All right then. So just stay the path, man. I mean, you're feeling better, so that's good. That is great. Pardon me for lecturing you on stuff you've already all done. I didn't think to ask first, so my bad. I apologize. But yeah, I mean, you're doing it the right way so far. Yes, Ethan. Veronica wants to know how you are. I'm well, thank you, Veronica. I'm good. I got to finish the Marvel film series at the weekend. My partner and I, we reached a place where we were both like, do you know what? Like, we want to do stuff. And obviously it's all the stuff that we can't do right now. So actually what we did do was we made a list of things that we would like to do once we're allowed out again, which actually was really nice. It was just like, we wanted to go mountain biking, want to do more hikes. We wanted to do some buggies. I looked up hot air balloons. Excuse me. Just stuff like that. It was nice. And then she did my locks again yesterday. So she went through them and probably picked them out so they look a bit tidier again. Obviously cut my hair, which is cool. But yeah, good. How are you? How was your weekend, Veronica? As Ethan's also asked, how are you? Oh, by the way, I will say, today's the day that you need a pen and paper. Today's the day. We're not going to do a quiz today. There'll be no quiz because we're going to go through this instead. So make sure you got something to write with and something to write on because this is what we'll do. All right, just so you know. Just so you know. Thanks for asking. I hope Vicky's well. I'm guessing she's at work. Hope Vicky's well. But yeah, how are you, Veronica? Good, we're good. Any special things happen at the weekend? Any particular? Oh, you are dribbling. How are you dribbling? Seriously, has no one stroked you enough lately? Good Lord. I might put you down in a second, Dexter, because, to be honest with you, I'm just not a big fan of all the fur everywhere. Not a big fan of it, to be honest, mate. I'm not. No, I'm not. And I can't cuddle you properly because you dribbled all down your front, you gross little bastard. Yes, you have. You've dribbled everywhere. He's old. He's old. Honestly. Poor thing. The life's hard, isn't it? Where you just lie and sleep all day and then you go outside and poo in the garden and then bring the dirt in and rub it into the carpet. It's really hard, isn't it? And then you have to sit here and be stroked. So hard. Well, actually, what we did do is we got a timed feeder. So we got the puzzle feeder, but now a timed feeder. I'm going to get fur in my coffee. I know I will. Hey, I'm drinking coffee because I just got back from a run. I did my 4.5 mile run this morning because I'm back to that as well. Organized my whole room and threw out a load of stuff I didn't need. Cool. Okay. All right. Veronica's gonna hit the quarantine lift, like running. She's gonna come out here like, what? Room's clean. Ain't no clutter. I'm free. Dabbing on the haters. Dabbing on the haters. Yeah. Well, there you go. Look at that. No, that's good. That's good. Actually, you kind of make me jealous because I kind of should have done the same thing. Should have, would have, could have. But oh well, what you gonna do, eh? What you gonna do? I guess, yeah. But that must have been quite satisfying, Veronica, to do that, to get that done. Must have been quite satisfying. Also, I had my purple drinking bottle full of water. Well, my partner got quite upset that I kept using hers because actually it turns out she kind of needed it too. So she got me my own, and look it. Isn't that funky? Yeah, same shape, same brand, but it's yellow. I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan. It looks awesome. I'm really happy with that. So I've got my own now. You found so much stuff you didn't even know you had. Yeah, that's going to happen. That's going to be the one. And I look forward to that. I mean, I kind of did a clear out in my old flat when I moved here. But then I got here and I was like, actually, now I'm here. I don't really need that. So I'm going to do the same thing. But I've already done that thing. And it's amazing. It's amazing when you hold on to stuff for so long. And you just think like, maybe, you never know. But eventually you reach this point like, I really don't need this. And it's fascinating what you find in there. You're like, wow, that is rubbish. I actually don't need that ever. So don't throw out things you don't need because you could end up needing them another day. Yeah. And that's what it leads to. When you're doing a clear out, Ethan, you're absolutely right. You're just looking at it like, that might come in handy one day. But it's funny because you do... I don't know. I really don't know. And I'm going to have to continue playing this game because I'm like twice your age. So you're just going to have to sit and go with this one. I feel like the older you get, the more you want to hold on to crap because you're more aware of stuff that you could use stuff for. So you deliberately hold on to it. You could like, that could be that literally, and I could picture a scenario where that's going to be useful later on. But you hold on to it, and then eventually it's in your, third apartment that you move to in a garage space somewhere. And it's just collecting dust for like years. And you just think, all right, at what point do you decide that it's actually not going to work? And I think that's where that person who organizes how, what's her name? Oh God, what was her name? Hang on. Who is it? There we are. Marie Kondo, who did that thing of, does it spark joy? It's that thing. Does it make you feel better? And if not, let it go. And I think it's also that, because unfortunately, yeah, well, actually, okay. Well, I'm more than twice your age then. Ethan, I don't think you know how old I am. I'm more than twice your age. So, yes, I'm very much old. I'm very much that age. I don't think you realize how old I am. I'm old, according to you guys anyway. I feel young. But obviously, all of you would be like, whatever, you're ancient, mate. You're a relic. I'm like, oh, well, fine, sure. Well, wait till you get to my age and then tell me how you feel. Yeah, 2 years. So I had a rule of my clothes that was like, if it's 6 months, if I haven't worn it for 6 months, it goes because I clearly don't need it, right? And that was like 6 months was kind of to kind of cross seasons, if you like. You thought I was 20, so a lot of people do. A lot of people put me in my mid-20s a lot of the time. And they have, to be honest, they have done for the last 3 to 4 years. They've thought I've been in my mid-20s for ages. So apparently, actually, wait a second. Hold on a minute. Wow. So since from the year, roughly from the year where I turned my life around and made everything better, everyone has seen me as I haven't aged since the day I decided to make life better for myself. I'm not even trying to shoehorn this in here. I'm not joking. When I was in my late 20s, a lot of people put me at the late 20 age or older, right? And I'm not joking. They actually pinned me there. But I've noticed that since then, since I started to move things down, everyone has thought that I was in my mid 20s. Everyone's put me at 25, 26 all the time. Wow. Well, this is what happiness does, people. This is what it does, I guess. Yeah, I seriously, no one has put me any older than like 26 or 27, and literally there for a long time. Yeah, I'm not in my mid-20s. I'm more than twice your age. I'm an old guy, which might explain a lot in terms of what you guys, hear from me, actually. Because when I talk about being older, I'm not talking like, in 7 years or whatever. I'm literally talking about the amount of time you've been alive again. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your whole lifetime twice, right? So I've done your thing, and then I've done a whole other thing after that lasts about the same time as you. Like that's how long I've been alive on this planet. So when I speak about stuff, I ain't BSing. I'm not like trying to be all like, oh yeah, everything's gonna change in 7 years. Hell no. 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 Mm-mm. How old am I? Mm-mm. No. We don't play this game. All you need to know is that I'm older than 32. Yeah, and you can guess how old I am, but I'm still not gonna be like, yes, you're right. No, I'm older than 32. Definitely. So I'm literally twice your age. You keep it there. So that's where I'm going to leave it for sure. Right. So let's go into this. Right. I'm Ethan. Are you okay to do? Right. Are you okay to do this? Veronica and Ethan, are you okay to go through this? I'm going to do the quote first because I know that Twigsy will join me at some point. I know that Twigsy will. I'm sure of it. And then we'll go through this because I'm excited to go through this. Definitely. So yeah. And you'll need quite a bit of space for it. So yeah, you'll probably just listen. Oh, damn. Okay, fine. All right then. No, that's fine, Ethan. No, that's fine. Just listen. That's okay. Okay, so we're picking out a page. I don't know why I blanked. I was thinking of how else we could do this for you guys. In fact, give me a number between 1 and 5. Any number between 1 and 5. Go. Both of you. I'll pick the number in between. 1 and 5. It can be 1 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Veronica said 4. Ethan, what number do you want to pick? Pick a number. Pick a number, any number. Tell me what you think it is. Pick a number, any number. Pick a number. Ethan, is he there? Where's Ethan gone? Ethan, are you okay? 1 and 5. So pick a number between 1 and 5. 1 and 5. 1 and 5. 1 and 5. Is it? I don't know where he's gone. Okay, we'll go number 4. I don't know where he's gone, but I'm hoping he's all right. Maybe he's just gone to vomit. You let it out, Ethan. Go and get it out, buddy. 6.9. I said 1 and 5, Ethan. You had to meme it, honestly. Right, okay, fine. So that means 5, basically. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Oh, wow. How is it there's so many pages in this book and still we've come back to the same one? Bear in mind, we haven't even done 31 pages of this yet, but somehow we're still finding the same one. Right, let's try it again. This time we're going from the back. If this has it again, 420. Fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Okay, here we go. If you're already walking on thin ice, you might as well dance. I mean, I don't know about that one. It depends on how you interpret that, because I can imagine that one going south really quickly, and I mean literally through the ice. But I think, yeah, right, Veronica, exactly. That's a terrible quote, isn't it? If you're already on thin ice, you might as well dance. I don't know. I think what it's trying to say is that if things are going bad and there's a lot of risk involved, have fun with it, but be aware that you're still on thin ice, right? Like be positive about it, right? Make fun of the situation, make light of the situation, but be aware that it's still a situation, right? I know even then it still sounds a little bit like, oh, because I'm thinking you might want to get off. Yeah, right, exactly. But I think what they're saying, like from that quote, what they're suggesting is there's no way off, right? If you're on thin ice, you can't get off the thin ice. You're on it, right? And I think it is a case of, also dance can be interpreted in many different ways. I don't think they literally mean have a dance. I mean, I think what they could be saying is be curious about the situation. Don't freak out, don't try and panic and run off. Be curious, play around with the situation now, because you've clearly gone to a place where you can't get off and things could go south very quickly. So instead, take a moment and explore, go outside the box with the thin ice, right? Because we could look at so many different scenarios. Let's say you've fallen out with a friend and so backwards off the ice. Yeah, right. I'm thinking if you say with a friend and you're having a back and forth and you've argued, you can pause and just be like, hang on a minute, wait a minute. I just want to know why are we actually fighting about this? What are we really arguing about exactly? And you can go down that road of exploring and ask questions, be curious, and you can take it there. Which is more of a dance with the conversation than it is a, oh, you did that or you did that, and maintaining that thin iceness where the relationship could fall apart very quickly. You could do the same with, say, your mental health, right? You could say, oh, I'm feeling really crap today, life's not worth it, blah, blah, blah. And you could almost play with it. And this is a bit dangerous, but at the same time, you can always play with it. It's just okay, as if to say, well, hang on. Maybe it's not that it's not worth it. Maybe it's at the moment that life actually nothing matters. Nothing matters. And if nothing matters, then technically I can do whatever I like. And maybe some of the things I'd like to do aren't very productive, but what about those things I would like to do? Because it doesn't matter. So why not have fun with it? I'm going to dance. Screw it. If I'm feeling really, really down, then actually I could get to a point where it's like, well, what's the point in anything? And that's actually a really good question. What is the point in anything? Maybe there doesn't need to be a point in anything. Maybe in terms of a positive anarchy, I can actually have fun for no damn reason and play around with it. I'm on thin ice. Screw it. If things go south, things go south. But actually, I could still have a good time when it goes south. And yeah, this doesn't apply to all situations. And I can tell that Veronica, you and Ethan are obviously thinking about scenarios where really it's not a good idea to go dancing. But there's still opportunity. I think it's picking those moments as well. Picking those moments where think outside the box. What could actually be a good outcome of this situation, or the best outcome of this situation? And I think that's what it's asking. Every motivational quote has nuance that can be contradictory to its purpose, right? And I think that's one thing that I learned early on. I don't know if you guys are there, but when you hear certain motivational quotes, you kind of want to poo-poo them because you're like, well, that doesn't apply all the time. And you're absolutely right. It doesn't. It does not. There's not a single quote that applies everywhere, right? In every single facet. But that doesn't mean that the whole quote is completely negated. It can mean that there are places where it does work. And that's what they're kind of wanting you to look at. Look at the places where that quote does apply and does work. And then in the nuanced situations, there'll be another quote where that nuanced situation, where previous quote doesn't work, there's another quote that makes that work, right? And so it's not about saying that everything in here applies. And actually, what I could do is from now on, I could take a quote and I could talk about both where it does and doesn't work, so that it's a case of understanding that all right, here we go. Live today, for tomorrow, it will all be history. And I could just be like, yeah, just do whatever you like. Live today, be in the moment, screw it. Because tomorrow's another day and blah, blah, blah. And that's wonderful. That's great. But actually, sometimes that's really actually quite destructive, because what happens is the foundation of what you do today could, of course, if you're basically enjoying yourself and having fun all the time and maybe not looking for work or, looking for something for a stable future, then eventually tomorrow is going to be like, well, hang on a minute. What is my life? If it has been a lot of fun, that's great, but there's nothing else in it but this thing. And that's actually starting to get a bit boring. So there is also that case. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but you only have today, right? This is all you have. And this is all the power you have to do what you can with it. So why not make a mixture of, stuff that's going to be fun for me to do, but stuff that also looks after my future as well. Today, I can do that today, right? And that can be that process. But everything has its nuance. I think what the last one's talking about in terms of dancing on thin ice is literally a case of sometimes there's more to life than what you see. Yeah, precisely. Exactly. Thank you, Ethan. And I think it's exactly that. When you're on thin ice, what you picture, and exactly what you're saying, what you picture is you're in danger, right? You're in danger. You're on thin ice. Yeah, and And so all you're thinking is, get off the ice, escape the ice. Oh my God. But actually, when you look outside of that realm, as stupid as this is going to sound, but this is a hypothetical. This is theoretical. So actually, we're not physically on ice, right? We're not physically on ice. So in that hypothetical, we could say, well, actually, what's the worst thing that can happen if we fell through the ice, right? Hypothetically. Now, if we're looking at it literally, yeah, we could die. But actually, we don't always think that when you're walking on thin ice. When people say that, it's a threat, right? But they're not actually going to kill us if we fall into the ice. So actually, death isn't the worst case scenario here. So actually, that means that the scenario that's related to this thin ice isn't quite the same. So we're sometimes falling, and we've all fallen into the ice sometimes, into the water. We've fallen through the ice sometimes. We all know a situation where we've fallen through the ice, and yet we survived. We're here. You're here right now, right, Ethan? Okay, you're ill, and that sucks. That really sucks. But you're here. Veronica, you're here, right? You're surviving. You're going through the day-to-day. So you've already fallen through the ice. But what have you learned from that exploration beneath the surface of the ice? And it's thin ice. So just because you've fallen through doesn't mean you can't punch your way back up again. Hello. Do you know what I mean? So we can break the mold of what this hypothetical actually is, right? And take the literal definition of it away. And suddenly we're going, right, so it's actually not the worst thing in the world to dance on thin ice. You know, it's not actually the worst thing ever. And actually, we can learn a lot from falling through the ice, right? So we can have a little dance on the surface. We can play around with it with respect to the thinness of the ice, which is, of course, it can be related to someone else's feelings. It can be related to someone else's property. It can be related to someone else's relationship, right? So we keep that in mind as to what that thin ice actually represents. And then we can go, right, so I know that there's a risk here, but I can still play around with it. And that's exactly what you're saying there, Ethan. Probably not exactly what you're saying, but in terms of there's more to life than what you see, then yes, exactly. Because we're not actually on thin ice. And the risk is not that we will fall through and die. It's the fact that we'll fall through and we'll have a little challenge ahead. And we just got to figure out how to walk through that challenge. That's it. Yeah. And the worst thing we'll feel is, of course, our emotions. And I've always spoken about the importance of emotions, but it's not to avoid them. It's to live in them and understand them. That's how we build resilience. That's how we're able to stomach and walk through this great big life that we have, right? By living in the emotions we have and dealing with them and working with them better. It's fascinating how if we're able to handle an emotion once or twice, a lot of the time, it's so much easier the third, fourth, fifth time round until eventually we recognize that it has a minute impact on us and we're not held down by it for so long, but we have to sit in it and understand it so that when it comes again, we can jump to that place and go, oh, okay, it's because of that. That's happening. Okay, fine. I'm okay. You know, you can't punch one underwater. The water makes, see, no. Okay. Ethan, you're being too literal again. You're being too literal. I'm hypothetically, right? You're thinking about it in terms of the literal, actual thin ice, right? So the only way to get back from under the ice is to find where you fell through. Actually, wait. Oh, Ethan. Oh, I like what you did there. See? Okay, back to the hypothetical. Let's go. Oh, no. Okay, I didn't finish the comment. Yes, sorry. I'm sorry, Ethan. That's a really good point. Exactly. Sometimes you got to figure out how you felt. Oh, this is great. Yes. Oh, Ethan, you are a sage. Not the herb. Like, you know, what is a sage? Wait. There's different definitions. I know Sage UK. There's a swear. Hang on. No, wait. Hang on. Have I got this right? Yeah. Here we go. The definition of sage is someone or something who is wise or exhibits signs of wisdom or intelligence. An example of sage is the advice to always think before you act. Ethan, you are a sage. You are a sage, my man. But no, you're absolutely right. The only way to get out from is finding out what happened that got you, through. Go back the way you came in and go, wait a minute, what happened here? Veronica, you taking notes? You taking notes on this sage we've got? Dab on the haters. We love it. Thank you, Ethan. That's good shit, man. Good shit. Yeah. We like that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So dance on the ice, and then you may resurface through the hole upon which you fell and danced. Oh, God. See, we made a better quote than they had in here. Rubbish book. No, it's not rubbish. It's great. I'm going to keep reading it. It's great. Good shit. That is good shit. Okay, then. Right. Well, I mean, Twigsy's not here, so that's upsetting, isn't it, guys? That's not great. Okay, no. Okay then. Well, Twiggy's not here, so Veronica, this one's just going to be for you. Ethan, you can listen along, all right? But Veronica, you can go with this one, okay? Now, what you're going to need for Twigsy, no surprise, motherfuckers! We love it. Look at that timing, Twigsy. Look at that timing. Unbelievable. We were just going to start. Have you got a pen and paper ready? Because we're just about to start. I mean, I hate to say it, you're going to have to watch on the replay because Ethan and I, mainly Ethan actually, and it's in the comment he just made there, came up with a fantastic kind of metaphor for our quote today, which was, if you're already walking on thin ice, you might as well dance. And there was a lovely discussion in which, of course, the idea of dancing on thin ice is terrible. Then I spoke about how we kind of want to be a bit more outside the box in terms of looking at it and not so literal. And we talked about that. And then Ethan said, you can't punch when underwater. Because I was like, if you fall through the ice, that's fine. If it's thin ice, you just punch your way back up again and it's fine. But Ethan said you can't punch when underwater, which is true. But I was being outside the box, not literal. But then he said the water makes too much resistance. So the only way to get back from under the ice is to find where you fell through. And that was like, and of course, it's like where you made the mistake is where you go back to look at how to resurface back to, on the ice. To get back to the surface is to look at where you went wrong. And I was like, and so I called Ethan a sage. And now we're here. Okay, then. So you're going to, there's going to be, I'm going to prep you 30 questions. 30 questions. And all you've got to do is basically say whether you agree or disagree. Okay? That's it. So what I would do, I'm just going to see if I make this one work. Okay. Yeah. Agree or disagree? It is, right? So deep, man. So deep. And so 30 questions, agree or disagree. Then what you're going to need to do, and I'll wait for you to do this, is you're actually going to need to, can I share the screen? I can't share the screen. What you're going to need to do, I'll show you on this board, because I haven't used it in a while. And this part might take a little while, is you're going to need right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. You're going to need 15 of these with basically this is like T1, T2, all the way up to T15, right? Of the T15, sorry. So 15 columns with 2 rows. Okay. It's all right, Ethan. Thank you. I thought there was, but I'll just show you like this because it's quicker. Because otherwise, I was going to take you ages. So you'll need that afterwards, but we'll do the questions first, and then we'll need this. All right, and then we'll go through it. But that's just. I'll bring that back in a second. So are you ready for the 30 questions? Are you ready for the 30 questions? All you need to do, 30 questions. All you need to do is write A or D, agree or disagree. Now, if you're neither, you would need to pick one. You need to pick one. Do you agree or disagree? And even if you're in the middle, you could say, okay, which one do I agree with this more than disagree with this? Right? You really need to pick one. That's it. Okay. So your 30 questions, agree or disagree. Here we go. Are we ready? Veronica, you there? You haven't said anything for a while. Twigsy, you ready? Ethan, you listening? We all here? We all ready to go? Veronica's there. Twigsy? So, so what I'm going to do, because good man, Ethan, we love it. Because these are just questions, I'm going to go through these a little bit faster than in the quiz, but enough time for you to consider it. All right. Yeet. All right. Cool. Also, sorry, you guys didn't see. My partner got me a new water flask. How sick is this? Because she actually wanted to use hers again. It was the purple one was hers, so I'm using this. Oh, that's good. It's really pretty. It's very pretty. Okay, Ethan is waiting, buffering. We're buffering the question. Right, here we go. Question 1. Oh, no, sorry, these aren't questions. These are statements. These are statements. Wait, stop. What is this? What are you doing? Are you ready or not? I'm really confused. What's going on? Ah! What's that? Oh my God, there's actually an emoji for social distance. Amazing. Look at that. That's phenomenal. Brilliant. Okay, here we go. Right. Statement number 1, agree or disagree. There are no objective moral standards. Moral judgments are merely an expression of the values of particular cultures. So again, there are no objective moral standards. Moral judgments are merely an expression of the values of particular cultures. Do you agree or disagree? Oh, nice. Ah, sick. Okay, next one. Actually, what I might do, wait a minute. Every time I make a statement, where is it? There it is. Oh, yeah, my fave. Okay. Every time I make a statement, Wakanda forever. No, you're not. Right, hang on. Sorry. No. This is not now. This is later. All I need you to do is write one A or D next to the statement. So literally, this is no statement number 1. That's statement number 1 I've just made. I'll read it again. All you need to do next to it right now is put agree or disagree, A or D. That's it. Oh, it's a washing machine. Bloody hell. I just heard it winding down. It tripped me out. Look at this cat. Honestly. Okay. So one last time. There are no objective moral standards. Moral judgments are merely an expression of the values of particular cultures. That's number 1. Number 2. Do you agree or disagree? So long as they do not harm others, individuals should be free to pursue their own ends. Agree or disagree? So long as they do not harm others, individuals should be free to pursue their own ends. Number 3, people should not travel by car if they can walk, cycle, or take a train instead. That's agree or disagree. People should not travel by car if they can walk, cycle, or take a train instead. Have I finished that? Yeah, that's done. Okay. Actually, I'll leave that there. Number 4, it is always wrong to take another person's life. Agree or disagree? It is always wrong to take another person's life. Oh, that's good. Thank you, Ethan. Ethan's given us all a lemon and some antibacterial gel. Thank you. Keep us clean. Thanks, Ethan. Appreciate it. Number 5, the right to life is so fundamental that financial considerations are irrelevant in any effort to save lives. The right to life is so fundamental that financial considerations are irrelevant in any effort to save lives. Number 6. I love these emojis coming through. It's great. Voluntary euthanasia should remain illegal. Agree or disagree? Voluntary euthanasia should remain illegal. Number 7, homosexuality is wrong because it is unnatural. Why is the fruit with the dog emojis? Who knows? God only knows. Because fruit is a pet. So number 7, homosexuality is wrong because it is unnatural. Agree or disagree? 8, it is quite reasonable to believe in the existence of a thing without even the possibility of evidence for its existence. Agree or disagree? It is quite reasonable to believe in the existence of a thing without even the possibility of evidence for its existence. And Twigsy, what are you asking? Because you'd have to refer to me if you need me to answer it, because I know there's a lot of emojis coming in, and I don't know whether you're talking to them or me. Statement 6, voluntary euthanasia. Euthanasia is the process through which a person is... See, it's hard. I don't want to say that word. A person is put to rest permanently through assisted means, right? So it's like a medical way of dying, where a person can decide, and voluntary euthanasia is where, like, say, if a person reaches a point of health where they no longer want to live because their health is that bad, euthanasia, to euthanize them, would be to take them to a hospital or doctor where they can basically choose to be... It's so wrong to use the word killed, because that's not it, but they will die through a medical process that is controlled. So voluntary. Yeah, I mean, Ethan says a doctor kills you, but again, that's... Yeah, but no, but yeah. Thanks, Ethan. It's a bit more delicate than that, but I think that's why I can't say the word kills, because it doesn't... Like, you make it sound like you walk in and you're like, I want to be euthanized. So a doctor takes a syringe, just stabs you 500 times until you die. It's not it. That's not the one. Like, they inject you with a lethal... It's like a lethal injection, and you go to sleep and rest forever. That's kind of what euthanasia is. So voluntary euthanasia should remain illegal, is what they're saying. That, whether you agree or disagree with that. That's number 6. Number 8, I'll say that number 8 again. It is quite reasonable to believe in the existence of a thing without even the possibility of evidence for its existence. Number 9, the possession of drugs for personal use should be decriminalized. So the possession of drugs for personal use should be decriminalized. It's number 9. Number 10, there exists an all-powerful, loving, and good God. It's number 10. Agree or disagree? Number 11. I love the little chick coming out the egg. That's cute. The Second World War was just a war. Number 11. The Second World War was just a war. Number 12. Having made a choice, it is always possible that one might have chosen otherwise. Number 12. Having made a choice, it is always possible that one might have chosen otherwise. "13. It is not always right to judge individuals solely on their merits. It is not always right to judge individuals solely on their merits. 14. Judgments about works of art are purely matters of taste. Judgments about works of art are purely matters of taste." Oh, I haven't put Wakanda Forever. Number 15. On bodily death, a person continues to exist in a non-physical form. Agree or disagree? On bodily death, a person continues to exist in a non-physical form. So that's halfway. We're halfway, right? Is there any that you want me to say again? Any that you missed or didn't quite understand? Apparently this person gesturing no. Well, there you go then. I am Iron Man. Oh, it's so sad. See, I finished watching the whole season recently, and yeah. Hang on. You asked why the fruit comes among the dogs. I'm just looking at this. Where? Oh, okay. It doesn't do that for me, but it is in the nature section, so that might be why. So I'm assuming we don't need any repeated, so I'm going to keep going. Okay, here we go. Number 16. The government should not permit... Okay, have a good meal, Ethan. We'll probably still be here when you're done, but enjoy your lunch. See you later. Number 16. The government should not permit the sale of health treatments which have not been tested for efficacy and safety. The government should not permit the sale of health treatments which have not been tested for efficacy and safety. Number 17. There are no objective truths about matters of fact. Truth is always relative to the particular cultures and individuals. Agree or disagree? Oh, which one? Which one are you talking about, Tweety? Number 16. If you could number them when you say, if you could say which ones you want me to repeat, because then I'll know straight away and I'll be able to do it. That'd be great. But yeah, I'm guessing you mean number 16. The government should not permit the sale of health treatments. Yeah. Okay. So what I'll say is the government should not allow the sale of health treatments which have not been tested for efficiency and safety. Does that make more sense? Let me know if that makes more sense, and then I'll go back to 17. I'll go through 17 again and then to 18. Okay, cool. All right. Thank you. So 17. There are no objective truths about matters of fact. Truth is always relative to particular cultures and individuals. Number 18. Atheism is a faith just like any other because it is not possible to prove the non-existence of God. 18. Atheism is just a faith like any other because it is not possible to prove the non-existence of God. 19. Proper sanitation and medicines are generally good for a society. 19. Proper sanitation and medicines are generally good for a society. 20. In certain circumstances, it might be desirable to discriminate positively in favor of a person as recompense for harms done to him or her in the past. 20. In certain circumstances, it might be desirable to discriminate positively in favor of a person as a recompense for harms done to him or her in the past. So basically, recompense is compensate. I just want to make that clear. Just so you know. Number 21. Sorry. Alternative and complementary medicines are as valuable as mainstream medicines. So alternative and complementary medicines are as valuable as mainstream medicine. So complementary, what they're talking about there is they're talking about medicines that basically add to mainstream medicines, other medicines out there. Alternative and complementary medicines are as valuable as mainstream medicine. Number 22. Severe brain damage can rob a person of all consciousness and selfhood. 22. Severe brain damage can rob a person of all consciousness and selfhood. 23. To allow an innocent child to suffer needlessly when one could easily prevent it is morally reprehensible. 23, to allow an innocent child to suffer needlessly when one could easily prevent it is morally reprehensible. So hang on, before I actually define reprehensible, I'm going to Google it because I don't think, here we go. Yes, deserving or deserving condemnation. So if that doesn't make sense, basically it's punishable. Deserving judgment. It's morally deserving judgment. 23, to allow an innocent child to suffer needlessly when one could easily prevent it is morally reprehensible. 24, the environment should not be damaged the environment should not be damaged unnecessarily in the pursuit of human needs. I really should be doing this myself as well. I need a pencil because I'm looking through the answers I used to give and I'm like, I do not feel like that anymore. Man, I changed. I need a pencil. Damn it, do I not have one? Okay, whatever. Morally reprehensible. 24, the environment should not be damaged. Oh no, 25. Sorry, 25. Michelangelo is one of history's finest artists. That's 25. Michelangelo is one of history's finest artists. I don't have a pencil with an eraser. I'm really sad about this. 26. Individuals have sole rights over their own bodies. 26. Individuals have sole rights, as in their own rights over their own bodies. 27. Acts of genocide stand as a testament to man's ability to do great evil. 27. Acts of genocide stand as a testament to man's ability to do great evil. 28. The Holocaust is a historical reality which took place more or less as the history books report. The Holocaust is a historical reality which took place more or less as the history books reported or report. 29. Governments should be allowed to increase taxes sharply to save lives in the developing world. 29. Governments should be allowed to increase taxes sharply to save lives in the developing world. And then 30. The future is fixed. How one's life unfolds is a matter of destiny. 30. The future is fixed. How one's life unfolds is a matter of destiny. Okay. So here we go. Are we all good? Are we all clear? Do you need any repeated? Any repeated whatsoever? Let me know. Do let me know if you need any of these sorted out. I think a better question to ask is, are you all good? Are you fine? Have you answered them all? Are you clear? Have you got them all down? You're fine, good. Twigsy, you all good? All is well with Twigsy? Where is Twigsy? I feel like, yeah, Twigsy, I feel like you're basically just like, you're streaming a little bit later. So I'd probably get your answers in a little bit later, which is fine. So what I'll do just for now is here, this is where we have this grid. Okay. So what you can do, you don't necessarily have to draw this whole thing, but all you need to be wary of is you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of those. Okay. Thank you, Twigsy. All right, cool. So basically you disagree with that statement is what you're saying. And then you need 2 rows. So you need to draw this out. All right. Oh my God, so much of this stuff to pull out. Why are you still stuck in there? I hope this isn't important. Bits of plastic I'm pulling out of my board now. Something out. How big does it? Not big at all. Like really not big. Like all you need to do. So actually, hang on. All you need is okay. All you need is the ability to put a tick or a cross in each box. That's it. That's all you need to do. Okay? That's all you need to do. Oh, no, don't even put a cross, just a tick. That's it. All right? So that's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. You're just putting a tick in every box where it matches up with what I've got here. Okay? So here we go. Hang on a minute. Let me just check here. Under each heading, do you know, put a tick in all the boxes which match your answers. Wait, 1 second. That's fine, as long as it works. How to score. Under each heading, put a tick in all of the boxes which match your answers. 1 second. 1 second. I'm just seeing if there's a way that I can understand this better. So bear with me just a moment. It's different. I just want to make sure I get this right. So I don't think it's asking whether or not you agree with, you know, the statements that are here, but necessarily 1 second. I'm sorry. I really want to make sure I get this right. Every time you take 2 boxes in the same column. So how have I done this? Wait a minute. Right. Okay. 1 second. I see. Okay. So, right, here we go. I'm going to go with it this way. So, yeah, you've got this grid up here. Pardon me. Thank you for patience. Sorry. Thank you for patience. So, question 1, or tier 1, sorry, in the tier 1. So, in this first one, if your answer to question 1, to statement 1 and statement 27, right? If they are both agree or both disagree, put a tick in there. All right? Put a tick there and there. Oh, no, wait, hang on. All right, no, wait. I really should have figured this out before I started. I'm so sorry. No, right, I'm just going to go through it, okay? Here we go. Now, if it matches the answers in the book, now I get it. If it matches the answers in the book, put a tick next in the box, okay? So T1 is question 1. If you got agree, right, put a tick in there. That's it. If you got question 1, T1, agree, put a tick, right? In the next box beneath it, question 20 or statement 27, if you got agree, put a tick in it, okay? In the next row, I'm so sorry. Let me know if this is going. Okay, right. That's actually going to be better, isn't it? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Let me do it this way. So if these match, then I'll go through it. And what I want to try and do is actually go through it in order. But the problem is they're in different rows, so I'm going to have to do it in accordance with the column. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Okay, so basically it's like this. You got T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. So I'm going to be going through it like that. So, right, in T1, you should have, if you've got question 1, let me just flip through pages. Oh, I see. Okay, no problem. If you've got agree, put a tick. If you've got statement 27, agree, put a tick. All right. T2. In T2, if you've got question 5, statement 5, what is it? Agree, put a tick. Basically, if your answers match this, that's all you got to do is put a tick in there. 29, disagree. T3. 10 and 23. You put that. So T1, right? That's question 1 and question 27. Then T2, question 5, question 29. Okay, and then I'm going to do T3, and it's going to be 10 and then 23. Okay, so 10 is agree, 23 is agree. Does that make sense? So the first number is the top column, the second number is the bottom one, and you're going along like that. Oh, I don't know, I should just do this. 4 is 17, agree. Oh God. No way I can just write this out. I don't know. I need to look. I need to keep it open. There we go. That's better. I'll just do that. All right. Cool. There we go. Right. Now you can just get on with it. And keep asking questions if you're confused at all, because I'll happily go through it. Hey, Ethan's back. Welcome back, buddy. We're just going through here all of these. But only if it matches, only if your answers match what they've said here. All right. That's it. Put a tick if it matches. So again, if you put agree and agree for question 1 and question 27, put a tick in there, both of them. If you didn't get it, just leave it blank. All right. That's all you got to do. Only if you've answered in accordance with what's said here. And yeah, you're going to take time. That's fine, because you're going to have to keep referring back to what you said. But that's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to rush you through. I'm going to wait for you to be done. Okay. Which one was it, Twigsy? Because what you'd have to do is you would have to make a call on it. You'd have to make a call. No, so again, if you've agreed on both, but okay, I'll put it this way. If let's say for T2, there's question 5 agree and question 29 disagree, only put a tick if you've got question 5 agree and then question 29 disagree. You put a tick for every single one that you've matched. So you've got to match these to give yourself a tick. All right. So you put I don't know on 25 and 28. 25 was Michelangelo is one of the finest, history's finest artists. You've got to pick one. And the Holocaust is a historical reality which took place more or less as the history books report. You've got to pick one. Okay? You've got to say whether you agree or disagree. Okay, so I'll make an example. For number 1, right? Here's how I did it. For the first tier, oh God, make sure I can see. I ticked 1 and 27 because I agreed on number 1 and I agreed on 27. For number 3, on number 10, I disagreed and I disagreed on 23. Right? So that's that. Then number 4, I put agree on 17, but I actually put a cross on 28 because I disagreed there. So I don't give myself enough. I didn't give myself a tick. Right? So I'm only ticking where it matched what they said. Okay. Oh no. Is this too much? hang on. 7. Literally only if your answer matches what I'm writing here in the thing do you give yourself a tick. That's it. Only if it matches what I'm putting here in the chat. That's it. That's literally it. If it matches, you give it a tick. And if it doesn't, you don't. That's all you have to do. Well, the thing is, no, because the reason, no. The reason it's got to be like this, is because these questions are deliberately put in tangent with each other, right? If I did it in question order, this whole thing would fall apart. There's a reason. You'll figure it out, and I'll explain it. But for now, it's got to be done like this because the questions have been deliberately asked to be like this, which is why you are going to have to keep flipping back, right? If I did the questions in order, then the tiers would fall apart. Okay. It's got to be done. As you can see, it's literally done. There's 1, and then there's 27. Then there's which one's that one? 5, and then 29. That's how it is. That's literally how it's put in the book. So that's why it's got to be done that way. And it will make sense in a second. I can't tell you on purpose because again, that would mess around with the whole process of this exercise. But it's all right. We got time. I don't mind. You take your time. Take your time. Go through it. It's okay. Because again, you can. The reason I'm typing these up is so that you can obviously take the time to flip back through the book and find out what you said. And again, if it's the same as what you said, take your time. Relax. Well, I'm not rushing you here, and I'm certainly not expecting you to be on board. I'm actually just typing this out. You, of course, are spending the time to put the ticks in place. All right. So that's really it. That's really it. 9, 12, and 13. Oh wait. Okay then. All right then, Tracy. No problem. We both. Yeah. I agree. Question 8, 18. Oh wait, hang on. 13, question 8. I'll tell you what, Twigsy, what I could do is I could put together a grid on Excel, and then I'll be able to email you the document and you can tick it through yourself and go through it that way. Because after this, I'll read through the point of all of this, and then you can do it in your own time. Because you went through answering all the questions, so it seems unreasonable that then you do all that and then it comes to no fruition. So I can certainly do that. But as we're here, I'm going to go through these now because I know that, Veronica, you're still going. So I appreciate that. And I'm just going to finish off. We're nearly done. And I'll give you time to get to the end, and you can just let me know when you're done. And then I will go on and we'll read what this is all about. T15 and 21. Okay, there we go. They're all there. So, Veronica, let me know when you've got to the end. That's absolutely fine. And I will go into and explain why this exercise is exactly it. All right. And then I'll do some reading because honestly, this will be the first point. I really, really wish I could do this myself now. What I might do is actually I'm gonna message my partner and see if she can tell me where there's a pencil kicking around the house somewhere. You done? Okay, cool. 1 second. Right. Do we have a pencil and eraser kicking about the house? Okay, because I'm going to do this myself. Right then. Okay, thank you, Veronica. Here we go. So every time you tick 2 boxes in the same column, tier 1 to tier 15, we have identified one tension in your belief system. We'll explain what that means later. But because you probably want to know your score first, here's what we think it implies. So if you've got no 2 boxes that have 2 ticks, right, there's no tensions. Your opinions on the issues we asked you about are totally consistent. You're fine. If you have 1 or 2 tensions, you seem to be admirably a consistent thinker, if not entirely so. If there's 3 to 5 tensions, bear in mind tensions are where you have a tick in the bottom, in the top and bottom row, right? Like most people, your opinions probably don't hang together as well as they might. And if you have 6 or more tensions out of 15, you're either an incredibly subtle thinker or a mass of contradictions. So here we go. The philosophical health check is designed to identify tensions or contradictions between various beliefs that you have. It does not aim to identify which of your beliefs are true or false, but potential incompatibilities in the set of beliefs you hold. Each tension we've identified indicates either that there is a contradiction between the 2 beliefs or some sophisticated reasoning is required to enable both beliefs to be held consistently. In each case, this means that there are reasons, which we will shortly explain, that make holding both beliefs at the same time very difficult, if not impossible. You can think of the idea of tension in terms of an intellectual balancing act. Where there is little or no tension between beliefs, little intellectual effort is required to balance both beliefs. But where there is a lot of tension, one has to jump off the tightrope by abandoning one belief, maintain one's balance by intellectual effort and dexterity, or else fall off the tightrope by failing to reconcile the tension and continuing to hold contradictory beliefs. Now, what I'll do is I'll explain exactly why this is the case. So we'll go with tier 1. I'll explain fully. Tier 1 says there are no objective moral standards. Moral judgments are merely an expression of the values of particular cultures, right? So if you agree to that statement, you're basically saying that moral standards are actually made up out of particular cultures, and there's no completely overarching, universal, objective moral standard. And yet, what was another question? Question 27. Acts of genocide stand as a testament to man's ability to do great evil. So if you agree with that as well, then actually that's saying, thanks, Ethan, cheers. That's saying that universally, genocide is an act of evil committed by man, but at the same time, that contradicts the idea that there's no universal moral standard, that actually genocide is merely a personal based on the culture, right? Because that contradicts statement 1. That contradicts our belief that moral judgments are merely an expression of values of particular cultures and not universal, right? So we can't really hold both at the same time, because either we're saying that genocide is okay in certain circumstances based on culture, right? Or we're saying that genocide is bad, which means there are moral universal judgments that are true. They can't both be true at the same time, right? So that's the tension. That is the tension in our belief system, and that's what we've got to look at. Another one is let's go with number 2. We'll just go to number 2. So question 5, or statement 5, the right to life is so fundamental that financial considerations are irrelevant in an effort to save lives. And then it goes to number 29. Government should be allowed to increase taxes sharply to save lives in the developing world. So if you basically agree and then disagree with that, then basically what you're saying is government shouldn't be allowed to increase taxes sharply, while at the same time, financial considerations are irrelevant, right, in an effort to save lives. So both can't be true. You can't be against governments sharply increasing their taxes for the sake of saving lives in the developing world, and then at the same time believe that financial considerations are irrelevant in an effort to save life because they contradict each other. That's a tension in those beliefs. So in number 2, if you agreed and then disagreed, then that's messed up. They contradict each other. And that's what they mean by tensions. It's not possible to hold both at the same time, but they're also saying that it takes sophisticated thinking in order to really justify the nuance and the subtlety and where those two things actually can be held at the same time. So either it's bollocks or it's a bit more complicated than that. Right, should you be worried about the tensions that we have identified? If you care at all about being consistent, then you should either give up one or two beliefs or find some rational, coherent way of reconciling them, of compromising them both. If you think you don't care about consistency, then perhaps you should. Note that this test only detects tension between pre-selected pairs of beliefs. It does not detect all the possible tensions between all permutations of beliefs. So there may well be additional tensions between beliefs you hold which are not detected by the test. A top score does not indicate perfect consistency through all your beliefs. So actually, I imagine that, Veronica, for you to come through to this test, how many tensions did you come across? How many times did you have 2 ticks appear in both the top and bottom columns? How many? Let us know. Only 4. Okay, cool. Nice. All right, then. Good. So, yeah, not many tensions in there at all. I mean, apparently, basically, that's pretty standard. There you go. But then if you want to be a consistent thinker, the 4 areas where you looked at, it can be a practice in basically having consistent thinking where you're able to go either I want this or I want that. And unless I'm able to really work out how I can make them both a truth and a belief I can have, then I have to have one or the other. I can't have both beliefs. Because actually that again, where you have contradicting beliefs is where actually having a part in discussions on the matter can fall down very quickly. Because if you're not able to be consistent in regards to a belief form where you believe that everyone should be equal, but at the same time you also believe that you should be able to earn £1 billion, then immediately there's a contradiction there. Because £1 billion, in order to earn £1 billion, you need to subjugate the freedoms of a lot of people, right? So you can't believe in equality while also earning a disgusting amount of money. You can't have those two things at the same time. So you've got to decide which one, or you decide how you can rationalize that equality is possible while also one person earning a lot more money than others. And that would take a lot of work, but that's an idea. In this section, right, the tensions explained. In this section, we explain why each of the tensions we have identified among the 30 beliefs is indeed a tension. You might like to just read about the tensions in your own beliefs, but you may also find it interesting to find out about some of the other traps you managed to avoid, perhaps to help you catch your friends in them. We also tell you how many people out of the sample of 80,000 who have taken a version of this test online have each tension in their belief. Right, tension 1 is morality relative, right? So hang on, I'm going to have some water. Here we go. This tension arises when someone agrees that there are no objective moral standards. Moral judgments are merely an expression of the values of a particular culture, and also acts of genocide stand as testament to a man's ability to do great evil. So actually what I won't do is I'm not going to go through every single one of these. Veronica, give me the tiers that you had, the 4 tiers you had, and I'll read those only because I'm not going to go through all of these because actually there's about 15. I'm not going to read through all 4. So if you could number the tiers, the 4 tiers that you had that, or tensions, sorry, that you had, tension 1, 2, 3, or 4, what were they? And I'll read those out. Mm-hmm. Let me know. 3, 12, 14, and 15. Okay, so here we go. And then Twigsy, what you can do is if you're still keen to, I'll put together the spreadsheet, email it to you, and then you can do this as well. And next week, if you want, I'll go through these ones for you as well. So here we go. 3. Is there an all good, all-powerful God? This tension arises when someone agrees that there exists an all-powerful, loving, and good God, and also that to allow an innocent child to suffer needlessly when one could easily prevent it is morally reprehensible. Around a third of the people in our research had this tension in their beliefs. Did I have this one? Let's see if I did way back when. I did, I guess. I did, I suppose, because I disagreed on both. But yeah, you'll see. I know, because I didn't agree. No, I didn't have a tension there, but I disagree with both of them. These two beliefs together generate what is known as the problem of evil. Thanks, Ethan. Just remind everyone. Let's remind everyone. 69, 420. Blaze it. Dab on the haters. All right. These two beliefs together generate what is known as the problem of evil. The problem is simple. If God is all-powerful, if God is an all-powerful, loving, and good God, that means he can do what he wants and will do what is morally right. But surely this means that he would not allow an innocent child to suffer needlessly, as he could easily prevent it. Yet he does. Much infant suffering is the result of human action, but much is also due to natural causes, such as disease, flood, or famine. In all cases, God could stop it, yet he doesn't. Attempts to explain this apparent contradiction are known as theodicies, and many have been produced. Most conclude that God allows suffering to help us grow spiritually and or to allow the greater good of human freedom. Whether these theodicies are adequate is the subject of continuing debate. So there you go. That's number one. That's tension number 3 right there. So something to mull over. Perhaps if you want, Veronica, you don't have to, but there's something to think about. Right, the next one, number 12. Let's go through that. If there is a God that can stop bad, then why did 9/11 happen in World War I and World War II and the Pentagon bombing and the Pentagon blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, yeah, you could. I think that's exactly the point that's being made here, Ethan, is that it's not to say that it's not to say that whether or not there is a God, it's whether or not God is all good and all loving. That's really the point, because that God. Bear in mind, if we look at the Bible, God wasn't all loving technically, but people speak to God as though it is all loving and all caring and so on. And so the question is, okay, fine. If you're willing to believe that, fine. But then also you cannot therefore believe that it's okay for anyone to suffer deeply. And hang on, what was it? To allow any innocent person to suffer needlessly when it could be easily prevented, right? And I think that's the point. It's not about why, if God exists, why do these things happen? Because that's built off this idea that God is all loving and da-da-da, right? And I think that's an argument for people who say that. But I for one, don't feel that God is that. Actually, I don't think God has a moral compass. And that's not to say that, God is bad. I'm saying that there is no moral compass. And I don't even talk about Christian God here. I'm talking about whatever we believe to be this higher power or thing to be. It doesn't do morals. Morals is what we made. We decide what's good and bad. And then we project that idea of good and bad onto what we think God wants, right? Which is why you'll have people who think that whatever God is hates gays, but then other people understand that God created us all in God's image. And if God created us all, then it created gays, which means that God's cool with gay people. So, and you can have those two discussions there, right? And of course, that is to me a good argument, not the most solid, but a decent argument of, well, yeah, God doesn't have moral judgment, so God actually can create war and famine and stuff. But it could be there as a test to see what we're going to do with it, right? It could be there as a case of, I'm not seeing this as good or bad. I'm seeing this as a happening that is taking place. And I'm seeing what you're willing to do with it. We decide as human beings whether or not it's good or bad, right? So we could decide. And I know then this again, in terms of the way that we think, is morally reprehensible. We could decide that war is the best thing that ever happened to us. I don't, but that's me putting that moral compass on it. I don't, because I believe there's a lot of suffering and harm that comes from war. But there could be, and there are people that think war is great because they do it. They fund it a lot. So, there you go. So it's very difficult to see, right? Yeah, there you go. And there becomes a very interesting philosophical question as well, Ethan. I've seen your comment, Twigsy, but I'll just come back to it. What is good and what's bad? We get to decide. We choose. And we are conditioned to be that. We're conditioned. We're socialized to believe that's good and bad. We are, and bear in mind, like, let's put it this way. Years ago, it wasn't as big a deal for us to beat our children. And I mean beat, not discipline, like spank them, beat them. It was not seen as a bad thing. If anything, it was seen as a good thing, right? To beat children, to beat young kids, right? From babies to the... It was seen as reasonable to beat women and brown people, right? It was seen a good thing to enslave people. And actually, in some parts of the world today, it still is seen as a good thing because it still happens today. So what is good and bad? And we can decide that. We're taught this and we soak it up from our environments. And so we get this idea of that's good and that's bad, but we actually get to decide for ourselves. There is, to me, there actually isn't a universally moral compass on all of this, right? Oh, hang on. Okay, Veronica, fair enough. I mean, that's something that I don't want to explore because honestly, I don't want to be here now preaching to you about whether or not, what's going on. If you want to talk about that, I would say talk about that with someone that you trust and feel comfortable talking to it with. But I don't want to go into an area that subjugates what your family have taught you. I think as long as you are not under serious harm or hurt or upset, then that is a safe place for you. I mean, in a way, you could say this is the thin ice you're dancing on. Have a play around with it, decide for yourself, and the thing is, you can have a belief, see the good and bad in it, and that's okay, right? You can love anything and still see that it's not healthy in its totality. I can love chocolate cake and know that it's also going to make me put on weight, make me feel crap. I can absolutely love running, right? Loads and loads, but I can also say that it's going to be really bad for my knees eventually, right? So therefore, I can also love religion, love God. I'm agnostic myself. I have my own beliefs, but I can love the concept of God and what it does to certain people, while also acknowledging that it also does a lot of harm for people. And that's how I can see it. Like, there is good and bad. It's the yin and the yang. There is good and bad in everything. And we can decide whether or not we feed the bad in something or feed the good in something. It's not binary. That's just bad and that's just good. We can decide what good there is in it and what good we want to take out of it, right? And Ethan, back to your point, that's where you get to pick. And you get to pick, with good comes bad. You get to pick based on what you feel is right for you. And I think I always think in it because this is where my mind is focused. I always think about how we treat each other, right? So, and in fact, it's because I'm having this conversation with someone online at the moment about, women's football being rubbish and terrible. And I'm like, based on what? Why? And they're arguing like, is it sexist because I just have a preference for male football? I'm like, well, to me, yeah, it is, because I don't see what the difference is in the games. I think it's arbitrary that the sexes are split, and they'll make arguments about, well, men are just stronger and blah blah blah. Okay, but that's also completely ignoring the athletic merit of women in sports. There are actually sports and activities that women are actually better at than men, funny enough, but we don't think that they play a role in any kind of activity. And they really could. They genuinely could. But instead of jumping to look at that, we just run it out as, no, forget it. Women are just bad at sports and that's it. It's not worth it. And then someone actually made a comment saying, because men would destroy women in sports. Based on what? That's an assumption. We've never actually seen it. Nor have we given women the funding for them to actually train as well as men to get as good as they could be in order to play against men and see. But the problem is that also becomes a mess, because then the function of pitting men against women in a sport opens up a mess of conversation and also leads to a very dangerous conversation about, right? And I agree. Football should have men and women in there. Absolutely. Give them the same training, same opportunity, same pay. Let them play the same game and see what happens. Because I could actually say that I would not be surprised if women were able to perform to the same standard that men could. I would not be surprised at all. But it's written off, right? It's written off because men are better than women and they're stronger. Football is not a sport where you have to lift elephants. Like, what the hell is that? It's dumb. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. So yeah, no, I don't. I just think it's nonsense. But again, that's where I think what's good and bad. That's where I think the nuance needs to be. When we're looking at what's good and bad, we must acknowledge that there's good and bad in everything, right? So if we decide, actually, this is why I don't like this as much, right? I'm not a sports person. I don't really watch a lot of sports. And I don't hate it. I think it, and again, this is it. I think it's great, but I don't hate it. There's actually very few things I really hate in this world. Because again, I see the good and bad in many things, but that's not meaning that I'm like liking everything. No, like I really don't like happy hardcore music. I find it really, really difficult to listen to, but I just don't listen to it. And that's the game that you play. Once you get to a point where you're like, I really can't stand this, you don't have to hate it. You just have to have it less in your life. Stop involving yourself with it. Know that it does good for people, and that's great, and it's not doing anyone any harm, fine. But don't belittle it because you don't like it. It's always going to exist. So anyway, I've gone off on a tangent here. Twigsy, you made a point. I watched a thing yesterday about someone talking about how the Bible never actually said a man should not lie with another man. Yeah, I saw this as well. And what was it? It was actually a translation. I can't remember what it was. It was a translation in that man shall not lie with a boy or something that they should with a woman. And it was something along the lines of more pederast, like pedophilia and stuff like that. But it was translated into meaning shall not lie with a man. But there's loads of different things that have been interpreted from it, from that statement. But it's interesting that there has been so much focus on that part in particular in the Bible. Because, I kind of think ultimately that comes down to not what the Bible said, but what people want to believe. That's what it comes down to. I don't think, because again, the conversation is so rife with people back and forthing about it, that actually I genuinely think that it comes down to what people believe. Because actually there's a lot of religious people out there who really, really aren't that bothered about homosexuality, bisexuality, anything, right? Like they really don't, they're not bothered. I know a lot of religious people who really aren't that bothered, who are open about pansexuality, transgender, gay, bi, the whole thing. I don't want to say like they don't care, like, they're dismissive and it's not important to them. It's more like it's not something that they speak on in terms of a something that's worth judging, because again, they are the people who understand that if we are all created in God's image, and if God created a person who went through a journey of realizing they were not born in the body that they felt they wanted to be in, then that's part of that person's journey, to take that journey through to becoming, the person that they want to be. Because life itself, like Ethan says, and actually, do you know what, Ethan, you're dropping bombs today. I love it. That's a really, 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 really good quote. That's a really good quote. Life is just personal preference. And I think that is so true. That is so unbelievably true. So it's down to not what the Bible says or not what someone said on TV or da-da. It's what we already believe and what we are willing to believe, right? What we're willing to believe. And what we're willing to believe is already based on what we believe, unless we're willing to challenge that and realize that it's not that way. So yeah, Veronica, you've been real quiet. And I hope I've not crossed any boundaries or said anything untoward. So I really hope I haven't. But I basically, what I think, to me, religion to me is not a problem. I don't think religion's ever been the problem. I used to be religious myself. I stepped away from it just because it wasn't doing me much good. But I stepped away from it, still respecting it and still thinking, it's doing a lot of people a lot of good, just not for me. So I don't want to stop it. But I always look at everything and go, this is not, the tool is not the problem. The person's vision of the way the tool needs to be used certainly is. It really is, right? A gun in a firing range is not a problem, because we understand that the gun in the firing range is used to be practiced on or to have entertainment purposes. That's fine. I don't have a problem with a gun in a firing range. A gun in a school, a gun in a public place. Why does a gun need to be in a public place, right? And I know we're going to get off on a whole that whole chat, but that's to me, I'm like, why do you need it there? That tells me that there is a personal belief upon the need for a gun to be used in that area. So that doesn't give me anything about the Bible said I needed to have my guns, or even, you know, the Constitution or whatever the hell it's called, the amendments, whatever they're called, says I need to have a gun. I'm just like, no, so that doesn't mean you have to. This is a choice, and you made the choice, which means actually it's down to you. So I'm sorry, but I'm not even that religious. I got told to believe in it, but I don't. I think there is a God, but that's all. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's cool. And the beautiful thing is, you know, your God, anyone's God can be what they want it to be. And I think as long as we're not, that's the thing. I think, as Ethan said, life is personal preference. And as long as we're not trying to force or enforce our personal preferences onto other people, and we respect that everyone has their personal preference, then we're good. We're chill. We're fine. Ethan, you don't have a problem with sexuality, someone, blah, 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 as long as they don't have a problem with mine. I think, well, see, you know, Ethan, the thing is, yeah, like, there's a challenge there. I don't have a problem with you as long as you don't have a problem with me. No, I suppose, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. You got me thinking about that statement, but yeah, no, I know you're right. You're right. Absolutely. Yeah. I guess I've always seen the thing of, you know, I'm fine unless it always speaks to me in some way. So I always want to sit back and go, But yeah, I hear you. Right, we've gone way off board, so I'm going to do the last three, and then actually we're going to have to end here because I've got a phone call at 2 in 20 minutes. But Monday, we're gonna go through this. I know this is a little bit. The thing is, I read this. When did I read this? When the hell did I read this? Hang on. I don't remember when this was, but I swear I was not that much older than you guys. Not that much older than you guys when I did this. So don't get me wrong. I'm not expecting you to get it straight away. But to me, it's a great book because what it does is it helps you think about what you think about and why you think about it and why stuff matters, right? Because what you could end up doing. And actually, much like Ethan, you've been told, and much like Veronica, you said, we believe things because we've been told to believe them. But what we may not be given is the opportunity to ask ourselves whether or not we actually want to believe those things. And that's where, that's where we grow from. And it's not to say that we decide that we don't believe them. We can actually check and go, do I actually believe this? And we can go, yeah, I do. I do. Deep down, I do. And it's not because they told me to. It makes sense to me. So I follow it. But we could go, hang on a minute. This smells like a whole bunch of BS. That doesn't make any sense. So I'm not going to roll with that. As much as you want me to roll with it, I'm not going to. And that's just going to be on that. Like, that's going to be full stop on period right there. I'm going to leave it. No. I don't know why I'm looking. Don't ask me what I'm looking at over there. I imagine I'm talking to someone. But yeah, I'm not with it. I did miss that comment there. The person was saying how it was saying, Jack shall not lie with Harry in the same way that he does with Jane. I don't remember the names, but yeah, Jane is the wife and Harry is a child. So it's about paedophilia, not gays. Yeah, that's what I got as well. I read that. But again, that's why it all comes down to personal belief. It's literally, that's it. So tension 12 was the other one. What is the seat of the self? If you agree that severe brain damage can rob a person of all consciousness and selfhood, and also that on bodily death, a person continues to exist in a non-physical form, there's a tension in your beliefs, one you share with nearly 1 in 3 of our respondents. These two beliefs are not strictly contradictory, but they do present an awkward mix of worldviews. On the one hand, there's an acceptance that our consciousness and sense of self are in some way dependent on brain activity. And this is why brain damage can in a real sense damage the self. Yet there is also the belief that the self is somehow independent of the body, that it can live on after the death of the brain. So it seems consciousness and selfhood both are and are not dependent on having a healthy brain. One could argue that the dependency of the self on brain only occurs before bodily death. I think, hang on, I think it's typo. One could argue that the dependency of the self on the brain only occurs before bodily death. The deeper problem is not that it is impossible to reconcile the two beliefs, but rather that they seem to presume wider, contradictory worldviews. One where consciousness is caused by brains, and one where it is caused by something non-physical. So what is our consciousness built of? I think is basically what that statement, that whole thing is asking. What is our consciousness built of? Is it built from our brain or something else? Because that's where the contradiction lies. Yeah, that's where the tension is. Are we our mind? Like, are we just what we think, or are we something more than that? And that, yeah, and that one is that's deep, and I'll leave you to think about that one for a little while. That's also probably quite overwhelming to consider. I'm not gonna lie. Right, no, 13. You got 13 as well. Hang on, and then wait, hang on. No, 14 and 15. Right, I'll read these two. Here we go, and then I will have to round it up because somebody needs to go. Right, tension 14. How do we judge art? Nearly half of the people we questioned fell prey to this tension. They did so by agreeing that judgments about works of art are purely matters of taste, and also that Michelangelo is one of history's finest artists. The tension here is that the result of the fact that most people don't believe the status of Michelangelo is seriously in doubt. One can disagree about who is the best artist of all time, but surely Michelangelo is on the shortlist. Yet, if this is true, how can judgments about works of art be purely matters of taste? If someone unskilled were to claim that they were as good an artist as Michelangelo, almost everyone would think that they were wrong, and not just because their taste differs. They would probably think Michelangelo's superiority to be not just a matter of personal opinion. The tension here is between a belief that works of art can be judged in certain respects by some reasonably objective standards, and the belief that, nonetheless, the final arbiter of taste is something subjective. This is not a contradiction, but a tension nonetheless. Number 15, what should be legal? Yeah, well, no, yeah, you're right, absolutely. So again, it's down to, but the thing is, I think Ethan, to speak on that further, we can have personal preference, but then also personal, if everything became personal preference, it would actually knock down the foundation of any sort of objective competition. Because then, if everything's about personal preference, everything becomes a popularity contest. That's what this says. Everything becomes a popularity contest. Who likes this the most? If everything's about personal preference, right? So either there is indeed an objective hierarchy upon which there are standards that are met. There are standards that are met in which, we agree that, for example, beauty standards. We agree that there is a standard of beauty that is higher than others, right? Or indeed art. There are songs that are just objectively better produced and put together. And we can think of examples where we can hear a song that we like, that we really like, and then we can hear a song that a 5-year-old made. And what we're saying is personal preference. If everything's personal preference, one is not necessarily better than the other. One is more popular than the other. Who knows? And that's not anything to do with better. It's actually to do with personal preference, right? And you're right, not everyone likes the same thing and not everyone will agree on the same thing, but still we will see a draw towards one thing more than another. Yeah? So I'll even put it this way. If someone took a sandwich, 2 pieces of bread and slapped a load of gravel between it, and then someone took a sandwich and slapped a load of, I don't know, Nutella, peanut butter, something tasty in it. And these two sandwiches, one is not better than the other. Right? We leave it to personal preference. Not everyone likes the same thing, and we don't agree on the same thing. But is everyone going to go ahead and pick? Is it going to be a 50-50 split? Are we going to have loads of people eating the gravel sandwich and not this one? Right? And so there's either a case where everything is a popularity contest, everything, or there is indeed a genuine hierarchy of standard that is placed upon us that exists outside of what human beings have put on it. It's either or, right? And they're tensions. It's not that they're contradictory, it's that they're tensions. It's like it's a little bit because actually at the end of the day, you could also say both are true. We can have personal preference and there can also be an objective hierarchy of things, right? Some of which are harmful. For example, beauty standards. Having a hierarchical beauty standard to say that a person is generally just more attractive than another can be harmful because it can lead people to believe that they are unattractive, which can also hurt their self-esteem, right? So maybe the idea of beauty is a personal preference, right? And of course, interestingly, studies have shown that personal preference of beauty and attractiveness is actually connected to what we are exposed to more often, what we're more familiar with, which also speaks to a concept of people of the same nationality, ethnicity, don't necessarily hang out because they look the same. It's actually because they feel safer with those people. And so you can also have outliers where they may not spend time around people that look like them because they don't feel safe around people that look like them. It's all down to what we're used to and what makes us feel safe, right? And what we're attracted to. And again, you saying looks don't matter. Is it actually true if we're talking about personal preference? Because in fact, looks do matter because we have a personal preference on them. And again, if we can change it by simply exposing ourselves to different types of looks, then actually we're saying that a person's looks has an influence on what we find attractive. So they do matter, but not in regards to the objective scale of this universal standard of beauty is more attractive than this. Because also that's where racism and sexism kicks in place as well. It really, really does. That's where racism and sexism love to live. They love living in that place. Because I know for a fact that white women are considered universally and around the globe more attractive than non-white women. But that's been down to an exposure of white women spread and sexualized across the globe all over the place. Whereas black and brown women, not so much. But suddenly now they're starting to be at a greater level. And obviously I'm talking about before your time. But so now it might not seem that way so much. But now black and brown women are starting to be seen as more attractive as we move forward because there's a greater exposure to them and we're more used to seeing them in those lights. And same with black and brown men as well. But black and brown men have already been sexualized. I'm not getting into it because that is a whole conversation. They've already massively sexualized. So actually, and I'll put proof on this. If you've ever heard anyone make a comment about a black man in a situation of prison rape or a sexual way, that is a long history. That has come from a long history of black men being hypersexualized from slavery, believe it or not, from slavery, where black men were perceived to be sexual predators just by nature, just assumed. And so the narrative was that black men were dangerous particularly to white women as well. They were a threat to white women because they were so hypersexual but they weren't. They were like sexually aggressive, which they weren't. So if any time you hear a joke around black men committing any sort of prison rape or sexual act, right? As in, and imagine if it was a big black guy, then that only furthers the narrative that's harmful from slavery. And that's the God honest truth. That's literally where it came from. It's got nothing to do with black men having large penises. It's got nothing to do with black men behaving the way they do. It's actually everything to do with the narrative that's put on black men about this idea. Actually, they're not. No, that ain't the truth. That's not it. Just thought I'd let you know. So then the last one, what should be legal? Number 15. This tension is the result of agreeing that government should not permit the sale. I think I talked about this already. Government should not permit or allow the sale of health treatments which have not been tested for efficacy and safety. Also, that alternative complementary medicines are valuable and as valuable as mainstream medicine. The tension simply is that one thing we say that they are valuable. I think this is one I fell on, actually. I think I did fall on this one. Yeah, I did. I fell on this one as well. So I said that basically the government shouldn't allow the sale of health treatments that haven't been tested for their efficiency and sale of They should not allow the sale of treatments that haven't been tested for their efficiency and safety. And yet at the same time, I believed that alternative and complementary medicines, which haven't been tested for their efficiency and safety, are as valuable as mainstream medicine. So not a contradiction, but again, a tension, which to me, I say, these things are really valuable, but at the same time, they shouldn't be allowed. That's the contradiction there. So again, it's that. Whew, my goodness, I really have to go, guys, because we've nearly gone for 2 hours. This has been great. I'm going to push forward with this and go on to the next one. I think the next one's a lot easier because the next one is, so you think you're logical. That's what the next chapter is. All right. And we'll go through that. Twigsy, again, what I'd love to do is I will get this sorted out. Right. I might do it in the 5 minutes here, email you the grid, and then you can go through it yourself and check on your own time. All right. But it's still, the grid will still need to be in this format. It's really important. And I think you understand why it needs to be done like this. Okay. Because it's about the tensions and where your tensions lie in your thinking and the consistency or inconsistency of it. So I'll then over to you. And then if you want, what you can do is you can email me back with where you had the tensions. And then next week, I'll just read those out and then we'll go on to the next one. Oh my goodness me. Well, that is the episode. That is it. That is DansDenYT Live number 31. Thank you very much for your comments. Ethan, some absolute gems coming out of you today. We appreciate it. Thanks for being here today. Twigsy, Veronica, thank you for being here today. Really appreciate it. A lot of fun as always. And I will catch you all tomorrow at 12 p.m. where we'll go back to doing the quizzes and stuff like that, okay? So this will be Mondays only. Mondays only, all right? So there we go. Have a great 24 hours, people. Mwah. Much love, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.